Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders of KW Bonsai. Today we're working on my Ficus retusa. This is one of the Ficus sisters. This is the one I call fancy because it's got all the multi-trunks and lots of aerial roots, and it's, not a simple looking tree. So in the last video we cut it back quite hard and we cleaned the structure out after it was, let grow to gain vigor. We repotted it, and now it's at the point where all the new leaves are starting to come out. We've had about 5 rainy, cloudy days in a row. The temperatures have been really cool, going from about plus 10 Celsius in the mornings to about 15 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. So it's been pretty cool weather lately. Today we have our first sunny day, so hopefully things will get a little warmer and better for tropical trees to grow. So today we're going to go in and look at the structure again. If I were to just let all these new shoots grow, I would get another tangled mess inside this tree. Some of these points we're getting about 10 new shoots coming out from some of the points where I pruned it. So if I let that grow, I would just get this big lump of new growth on the trunk, and it wouldn't look very good. So we're going to go in and clean out the structure again, keeping the shoots we want and removing the ones we don't want. So let's go in and have a look at the tree. So here's all the new growth. You can see where we cut this branch off, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 shoots coming out from that, all from that one point. Some of the shoots are growing in towards the center of the tree, which we don't want, and we just want to clean it up. Generally in bonsai, you want every branch going from a single branch dividing into 2, and then those 2 branches dividing into 4, and then 4 into 8. You don't want a cluster of branches growing from one spot, or you'll get like a bulge there eventually. So we want to clean the structure out to keep our trunk lines nice and clean, remove any shoots we don't want that are growing inside, and generally do another pruning. Some of the shoots will allow us to cut some of the branches back further. If we want movement in the branches, we can cut them back shorter and let the new shoots grow out. So we'll be going in and looking at, some of the branches, and I'll show you what I'm doing in those areas. So we'll start on this branch as an example. This branch, was just a single shoot, and you can see it has no taper, and the only movement is a gentle arc. It doesn't have any, redirection or anything. So we have one shoot on the bottom here, and there's another one on the inside there. So, I said we want one branch dividing into 2. Well, here's 2 shoots we can use, and we can prune off the branch shorter here. So right here. That'll then give our branch movement, so it'll change direction, and we still have one branch dividing into 2. We have a branch back here that comes up. We've got one shoot on the inside here, one on the outside. We've got one more horizontally here, which I kind of like. That way this branch wouldn't come and cross in front of this one. So I'm going to keep this shoot, and I'm going to prune it off here. I think we'll just keep these 2 shoots and take this one off. maybe. No, I'm going to keep this back one, this one, so this branch will divide early into two here, and we'll take this one off like that. So we still have our branch dividing into two, and then we've got a nice change of direction here. So this branch, we've got it, it comes up, it changes direction, has a shoot here. You can prune this dead part off here. And we have another shoot here. And it would be nice to change the direction of it again. So I'm going to prune it off to here. We don't have two branches coming off of here. We've kind of got, well, this will develop into a branch. So we will have our one branch coming into two here, which should be all right. Down lower here, we have a shoot coming out here, which is all right. We've got one growing towards the inside. We'll remove there. And we'll clean this stub up here a bit, like so. I've got another branch growing on the inside here that I'm going to remove. Up front here we shortened quite a large branch, and we've got a lot of growth in this area. So we want to simplify that so we don't get a massive foliage in that area. So I'm going to remove some of these inside ones here. And this one down here, one in here, and I just want to leave two branches coming off here. So I've got one here, and I want to remove this one up top here. And there's some on the inside here I don't want. So we've got that down to two branches coming off the large branch there. On this branch, I've got a vertical shoot close to the inside that I don't want, so I'll remove that. Our branch comes up, it divides into two, and then it divides into three. So I like the direction of this branch. We've got a shoot on the inside here we don't want. Remove that. And I think we'll take off this back one and make this branch come a little more forward here. So we'll remove this one, like so. Now this branch here, we've got it crossing in front of this one. The two kind of intersect here. So we can prune this part of this branch off, give it its own space. This branch here, we have it crossing in front of this trunk. We don't want that. We could prune it right down to here or here. I think probably here is best. Like that. That'll direct it outwards, and we don't want this inside shoot, which would just grow in front of all the other trunks. We've got a branch growing off the main trunk here, which is all right. Another one sort of here that's starting, which may be all right. I don't know. It's kind of, it'll probably cross in front. I think I'm going to remove that one. In this area here, we have some outside shoots which aren't too bad. But we've got some that are crossing here, and growing inside towards the center of the tree that we want to get rid of, like that. And some back here. Right here. Get rid of that too. Up on this branch, we've got a lot of new shoots. Some we'll keep and some we won't. So I think we've got 2 shoots identical here almost. I think we'll get rid of one of them. And I think I'll pick the lowest one. Just because this one's a little higher, this one will be lower. We've got a shoot, a couple of little shoots coming from the base here. We don't want those, they're just not growing in a good place. Trim those off. We've got 2 shoots identical here. We'll get rid of one of them, this lower one. I've got a shoot coming off the base of my branch here, which I don't really want. Get rid of that. This one's okay, it'll grow outwards. I've got one growing in the inside here. We'll get rid of that. Another one here, possibly. Actually, I'm going to shorten that whole branch. These branches are kind of running parallel. It would be nice if this lower one would fan out more, so I'm going to chop the top off that one. Like that. And then we've got our new leader growing here. Give it some more room. I'm going to continue cleaning out the structure and shortening some of the branches that I can get more movement in them when we've got new shoots growing off them. And then we'll come back and we're going to start cleaning up the landscape. And at the back here, we've got a lot of moss growing on the roots that I'm going to clean up. And there's a few weeds. And we'll probably plant some moss on the base of the soil. So I'll come back when we've finished cleaning up the structure of the tree. Okay, so I finished cleaning the structure up. The reason I'm doing it now while the shoots are coming out is if you left it much longer, it would just be a massive foliage in the top and you wouldn't be able to see what to remove and what to keep. It would just be, you know, a massive foliage. You wouldn't see the structure. So that's the reason I'm going in now and picking off the buds when you can see what's going on before all the new growth extends and the tree gets its canopy back in. So the next job I'm going to do is, if you go around the back here, I've got a lot of moss growing up the trunk of the tree. So I'm going to remove all that. So I'm just going to come in with the tweezers and pick it all off. On a lot of bonsai videos, you'll see the tree, as the person works on the tree looks better and better. And when your tree's in the refinement stage, you can do that. A lot of my videos, the tree starts out with a nice canopy and I prune it all away, and the tree looks worse at the end of the video than it does at the start a lot of times. But when you're developing a tree, you've got to do that. You've got to take it back to the bare structure, build branches slowly and carefully, and a lot of times your tree will look quite horrific. I've seen you know, people come into the club and they have this nice full tree, really nice canopy on it, and someone in the club will prune it down and the person will be quite horrified at the end of the night. They'll say, all I'm left with is a stick with a few branches maybe. And this is typical when you're developing a tree. You take it from what looks like a tree down to the bare structure, and it looks pretty bare. But it's good for the future of the tree. You establish the branch structure, and you kind of get used to the idea that your trees don't look beautiful and perfect all the time. You're kind of always working on the tree, and a few times of a year it'll look fantastic, and then you do more work on it and it looks less good or not as great. So it's just something when you're developing trees, is that you have to get used to the fact that your tree isn't going to always look like a nice bonsai tree. It's going to look pretty bare at times. This moss on the trunk of the ficus, it can have some benefits. It does hold a lot of moisture at the base of the tree, so if you want to grow aerial roots, they'll grow into this moss. But I think this tree has enough aerial roots going on that we want to take it all away. We want to see our roots too. Don't forget, on the channel there's a playlist called Tree Documentaries, and there's some great videos, not done by me but other people, and you can watch some really good videos on trees in general, full-size trees, and some of them are really well done and really interesting. So if you're new to the channel, check out the playlist section and go to Tree Documentaries, and you can watch some really good videos on trees. Hi, Max. Max the raccoon has come over for a visit. Hi, Max. Hi. How you doing, Max? Oh, you good boy. You good fella. You can't climb up on me. No. Oh, he wants to play. You play too rough, Max. No. You play too rough. Yeah, you're too rough a player now. When you're little, you were fine. Hi, Max. How's it going, my friend? Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good fella, yeah. Okay, so I've got all the moss removed from the trunk. So I'll rotate it around. You can see I got most of it anyway. This tree looks pretty good from the back too. Yeah, I actually like the roots maybe even better from the back. Anyway, we'll still leave this as the front of the tree for now. So the next thing we want to do is some landscaping. If we imagine our giant canopy over here, I don't want a lot of moss growing around the base of the tree. Most ficuses, it's sandy underneath the base of the tree. You don't see grass growing under a ficus much, especially if it's got a big canopy. When I repotted this, I mounded the soil up kind of high around the tree, just to make sure we got all the surface roots in the soil. I'm going to take away some of the soil and get it level with just below the lip of the pot. Any surface roots like this that you sort of come exposed, we'll put our sand over top of those and keep them in the soil. Maybe a little high at the front still. Okay, here we go with the sand. So we're just going to kind of work it in with the roots. When we water it, this sand will all level out nicely. And then we'll put our moss on. Around the back here. I found that moss really grows well in the sand. So if you plant your moss right into the sand. It'll grow really well. The sand holds the moisture well. It still has good drainage. So we're almost ready to water. Let's get the watering can out and we'll give it a good water and level the sand out. Okay, here we go with the water. We're going to give it a good soaking. Rotate the tree around as we do it. All our excess sand is running off. It's getting there. We'll run one more watering can through that. Okay, here's our second watering can now. So you can see how it's nice to see the roots going into the surface like that. Looks really kind of realistic, you know. All running into the soil like that. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to clean up the lip of the pot. Get rid of this excess sand. Just with our finger like this. Got a lot of cleanup here. Okay, looking better. I'm just going to clean up the bench here and we'll come back. We're going to plant our moss around the edges, keeping the area around the base of the trunk clean of moss. This moss will spread quite quickly on the surface of the soil. Just seeing how that looks. Maybe just a little more moss. Not too much more, but just a little. I'm just going to place a few tufts around the front. So the last thing we'll do is clean up all the perlite out of the soil, where some of it's exposed here. And give the moss a good water and kind of just do a final cleanup of the tree. Okay, so I've got the surface of the soil all cleaned up. The moss is watered. And I think our work is done for today. That's all the work we'll be doing on this tree today. The next phase will be just growing the canopy back out and, you know, pinching the vigorous tips to kind of keep it balanced and letting it fill in, and that'll be it for a while. So Nigel Saunders of the Kitchener-Waterloo Bonsai Society, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.